Hello, hello, hello. Sorry about the delay. Had a little bit of problem with the people I was going to have on the show, but it was a mess up. So I'm just going to try to do it by myself unless somebody shows up. So here we go. I was going to start off with this interesting video that I found that came across my timeline. This young girl talking about the U.S. AID information, and it kind of made me sad, but it also warmed me a little bit because it's nice to see young people looking at their future and whether they can trust our government or not. And hopefully we'll get more of them to thinking this way, and maybe they'll want to get active in their own communities, because it all starts at home, basically, because it's your local government and your state that can fight and take it away from the federal government. So once we are able to do that, we'll make a difference. But I'm going to go ahead and start this video so you can listen to her. And she's very, very adamant about her feelings.
Okay, I'm going to try not to curse in this one. So I'm sitting here watching the Joe Rogan interview with Mike Benz, and I'm literally shaking. I'm so pissed off. I'm so angry. And I'm left with so many more questions than I had to begin with. How long has this been going on for? has it been going on since before my parents were born? Like, this is treason.
Mm-hmm.
The things that USAID has been doing is treason. How can you describe the things that USAID has been doing as anything less than treason? Like, the questions that I have now are, how much of it was real? How much of what we've been told by the mainstream news, who were being funded by USAID, how much of that was real? Did 9/11 get funded by USAID? I know that that sounds conspiratorial and weird, but like with everything that they're showing, it's really not. Like, did they fund the terrorists that took over the planes? Like, the more that I learn, the more angry that I get. I hate being fucking emotional on here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to swear. I'm trying not to. I wasn't born and raised in the United States of America. The idea of what I thought the United States of America was is it's not real. The idea of what it's not real. These people have perverted our country and our goodwill. They have extorted the American people in the name of humanitarian aid.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially funded both sides of every conflict. This is overwhelming. I can't even
Well, one thing I want to say before I play any more is the fact that she's realizing that the government or parts of the government, because I don't believe everyone in the government is corrupt. I really don't. I believe there's a very small, maybe 1% or maybe 2% of people in government are corrupt. And once they get to a certain place in government and they have enough people under their wing, whether through blackmail or other means, money, corruption, that type of thing, they're able to get people to do their bidding, right? So when you have a giant checkbook of 360 million people that we have in the United States, and we're all hardworking, want to have our own homes and live our own lives, have families and all that. So we work and we pay taxes. And with our taxes, they found a free meal, basically. And I've been saying things about the government for a while when I realized that you have our veterans basically having to wait 6 to 8 months just to get into the doctor for eye appointment, or they have something happened to them and they're not feeling well and they're trying to get in, or they need hearing aids, or it could be a few other health problems, and they can't get the help they need. They call hotlines, for people like that have been through horrible things serving our country overseas, and they can't get through. They call an emergency hotline for suicide hotline, and there's no one answering the phone. Things like that. They're not spending the money to take care of the people that they promised to take care of, right? So I knew there was something wrong, and I said, these people are corrupt. And when you go to them, they say, well, what am I supposed to do? Nobody would fix anything. So then when Trump was running the first time, I wanted to vote for Ben Carson because I thought Ben Carson was a wonderful man, a true loving husband, a good American man that seemed like he lived his life the way that my parents did. Okay. So I could see that in him, his compassion. But then when Trump ended up getting the nomination, I kind of said, well, he's better than what I think they offer. So, and he was gruff and he was rough on the edges, and a lot of people didn't like him because of that. But guess what? I started paying more attention to him when he would go and do things with groups of people. And the one thing that really moved me was he was greeting a bunch of veterans, and they had their wives and other family members. No, I'm sorry. No one, I couldn't get anybody to join me. And the people that were going to join me we're going to talk about some other things that I can't talk about on YouTube. So I told him, I'd already planned this to be on YouTube, and I had problems with that. For some reason, it booked 2 shows, and I was trying to fix it and stuff. So it was just a bunch of technical problems. But what I was saying about Trump is I was watching him with these veterans, and there was a man standing in line, and he had no hands. He had 2 claws, because I guess he'd lost both his arms in the military, and his wife was standing next to him. And Trump was going along the line of people shaking hands, and he's very hands-on. He's a very hands-on person. That's one thing I noticed about him. And when he got to this one veteran, I get emotional every time I think about it, but it was so real. It showed me who he really was. He saw the guy didn't have any hands, so he reached down and he touched the man on the face. And then he put his other hand on his shoulder. That's compassion. That isn't something that you just make up and go along with it. Because I've seen other people, such as Biden and Obama and others, and they just nod their head at him or tap him on the arm like that, something like that. But this was a touching moment for me. That's when I realized that maybe Trump is the person that we need to fix our country. His rhetoric and the way he speaks turns a lot of people off, but he's a showman. Okay. And that's how I started looking at him. This is someone who's trying to sell himself because that's his business. He's very, very flamboyant. And I just started paying more attention to him and how he treated people, not what he said when he's doing an interview and things like that, because he's, older now. And once you're older than this young lady that's speaking in this video, you're stuck in your ways, you're kind of ornery or whatever it is. And he's lived life. He's got grandkids. He's not going to all of a sudden turn off what his whole life he's been. It's not going to happen. So I accepted him that way, simply but on the basis of how he treated people. So when he first came out and started talking about some of the things that he wanted to do for our country and drain the swamp, I started paying a little more attention to him. And what she's talking about with this USAID, that's part of the swamp. Okay. When Trump got in there, he was just a businessman. He wasn't expecting, I don't think, a lot of the things that he ended up with, like Comey, for one. Okay. FBI person in charge that hated Trump so bad that he was willing to do whatever it took to get him out, right? And half the people in the White House hated Trump and they wanted him out, either because they thought they were going to get this or they're going to get fame. Or somebody was blackmailing them. I don't know. And I won't know because I don't know if that stuff will ever come out. But all I know is when I started seeing the cheating, online videos of people writing on ballots and putting them in boxes and stuff, which I know is illegal because I've worked the polls in 2 different states in multiple of elections, presidential, just regular elections for the state, things like that. And the ones where you pick the senators and stuff, things like that. And watching the videos from different states, I'm like, there's no way that can be legal. If another person can just take another person's ballot and write on it, I don't see how that can be a legitimate election. So I believed him when he said that it was stolen. I did believe it, and I still believe it. And I think that this whole mess that we're seeing right now unfolding because of Doge, which I've played their video many times on here because I do believe in it. It's time to clean house and start getting rid of some of this waste. It's our money. It's not, none of those people up in Congress and senators and all those state representatives, the money they're spending when they're up there is our money that you and I went to the chicken plant or to Firestone to work or Tyson Chicken or a grocery store or a restaurant or a casino, wherever it is that you work, or you're a nurse. I mean, it doesn't matter, a fireman, a police officer. You're the one at work. You're the one away from your family, away from the people you care about, making money. You're writing checks and paying your bills. You're buying a house. You're paying for a car. You're buying groceries. You're doing stuff. You are the economy. Us. We are. This young woman is the economy. And then to find out that we're just a giant open wallet for them to take money out whenever they want with no boundaries. We are, I know, over $36 trillion in debt. And our great-great-grandchildren are in debt and they're not even conceived. And people are having a hard time understanding that, but that's a fact. Not because of you and I. Okay, the things that we did was elect these people because of what they said. We believed them, just like I believe Trump. But the reason I believe Trump even more this time is because he's doing everything we asked him to do. Every single thing, even though he's having to do it with an executive order, because we still, it's only 20-something days in, we need to ride the asses of all the people we put in office and make them write laws and make it permanent so that we don't have to go through this shit anymore, right? Because in my state of Arkansas, I have Sarah Huckabee as our governor. And we have a balanced budget amendment in the state. So they only have so much money to spend. So they either got to spend it wisely or we run out of money. Okay. And same thing in your household. When you have electric bill, car payment, house payment, all the different things you pay, what happens to your house when you don't pay your bills? Does the government come in and open their wallet and pay your way? Hell no. They could care less, and they are petrified that they're not going to have any more money. Because without the money, guess what? A lot of us have been thinking, like someone gets hired, whatever, a young person, they go to Congress or they become a senator, and they're making $200,000 a year. I'll just use that as a guesstimate. And in 4 years, they're worth $20 million. How does that happen? Think about it. How does that happen? It's called lobbyists. They come in like for the pharmaceutical companies. Even during the Super Bowl, I think they had at least 4 Pfizer commercials. And guess what? And we subsidized it too, right? Every one of their jabs that they gave out, we gave them money. We paid Pfizer money from the government, and then you did too. When you went to your doctor's office or whatever, and they gave you the jab, you paid for that too out of your insurance. And that's when we wonder why our insurance is so expensive and stuff. Well, this young woman is finally seeing what a lot of us already knew, the waste that our government is just wasting money like crazy, spending it on shit that we never voted for. Because I can guarantee that when you paid your taxes, you were expecting better roads, better schools, a faster service when you go to the DMV, all these things. That's what we were thinking. And for a federal government to pay our soldiers a decent wage so they can protect us from invasion. That's basically what we normally think about. At least that's what I thought about as an American citizen. But we're finding out some good shit. And man, I'm loving it. They are all squirming because guess what? Their piggy bank is getting zipped up. They're not going to be able to just reach their hand in and take it out and say, oh, I want to spend $2 million on a coloring book in Africa to teach them about being a transgender. Stupid shit like that, because it's not real. We know what's happening to it. They say $2 million is going to go to that fund, right? And guess what? 500,000 might go there. Where do you think the rest of the money went? It went into their bank account, I bet. And that's what I'm hoping. Because as so far, no names have come out with all this Doge, stuff coming out about this, that, and all the waste. Nobody's names has been attached to it. But I think as soon as Kash Patel and a few other people are put in their little thing, and I think Kash is going to be in tonight at 11 p.m. I think that's when 11 p.m. Eastern time he's going to be voted on, because they have this whole thing they have to go through with Robert's Rules of Order, with the way our government works. And but he's going to get in, and that's when the shit's going to hit the fan starting tomorrow. I really think that once he's sworn in, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's going to be good. So I think everybody should buy some popcorn and start paying attention, because everything that Trump said was true. And I got a video I'm going to play after this young lady. I just wanted you see a young person that's finally realizing that maybe everything that she thought our country was, and that she stood up for and put her hand over her heart and said the Pledge of Allegiance, that those people really gave a shit. But now she's realizing that when Hillary Clinton started this foundation over in Africa, and all these kids disappeared and all that other stuff, and all that money we were sending over there went to pay for her daughter's wedding and her beautiful gown. It cost, what, $20,000 or whatever, stuff like that. It should hurt. We should all be pissed, and we should be fighting to make sure that Trump can keep doing what he's doing, because the people he's put together, they hate the left, the Democrats, and the rhinos. When I say that, it's the rhinos too. That means they're Republicans. They have an R next to their name, but they're still criminals, okay? They're stealing from us. But the sad thing is, we can't take them to court to get the money back, because it was all allowed to be spent by Congress. And Congress is the one that sets the budgets, right? Or the Senate. I think it's the Senate. Yeah. Whatever one. One of them, the branches of the government, allowed this $2 million to go to that, $150 million to go to that. So it's all been doled out by our government, which is perfectly legal by the Constitution. But when they put names on it and start telling us what they spent the money on, are you going to re-elect that person? A person that might have been in office for 25, 40 years, spending your money all this time, just ching, ching, like a slot machine, just taking money out left and right and spending it on whatever the hell they wanted. And we've let them. We've let them because we're too busy trying to raise our families and pay our bills, take care of ourselves, try to find decent health care and stuff like that. All this money they wasted. Look how many lives it could have helped. I mean, it just chaps my ass so bad, and I cannot wait to see these people. I mean, they're already squabbling. Oh, Trump's a crook. Oh, we hate Trump. They tried to kill him. They tried to shoot him at 2 different places. I don't know how they did that, but somehow they did it, because, man, it's just not believable that many people can all fall and look the other way when someone's getting killed. And then conveniently, the people on the Epstein list, and then Epstein kills himself over it, stuff like that. It's just so many coincidences. It's starting to really make sense that all the conspiracy theories are coming true. So we really weren't stupid. We really were smart. It's just that we just didn't want to believe our government hated us so much that they want to screw us all over, every one of us, and not a whole government. Okay, that's why I want to see them clean house. I want to see them go in, because all the people that came forward and said, man, what's going on, it's not right. And what happens to them? They get railroaded out of their jobs, have to go somewhere else, and nobody wants to believe them. That's where the word conspiracy theorists came from, was started by our government and placed on people, ones that were speaking out against the way they were doing things. They didn't like it. So, man, this is going to be good. I just hope that somehow we're able to get this taken care of. But I'm going to share a couple things really quick from people, because I have a lot of people in the chat, and it's just me. I don't have anyone to join me tonight. I sent out a few links, but different things were going on. And Cash, yeah, he's not perfect. None of these perfect people are perfect. Pam Bondi, all they can do, they're us, okay? They're us. All they can do is what is available to them, okay? They're going to try to follow the law the best they can, because they've all said that they're going to uphold the Constitution. What was going to be shocking to us, because apparently we've been going through our whole lives thinking that you and I were trying to do it, what we thought was the Constitution, and how we should act and treat people with decency and not be racist and all these different things. And all along it was being paid for by our government to make us point the finger at each other instead of at them. And I'm hoping that we're going to learn some stuff. But let me play a little bit more of her before I go to the next video.
I didn't even grasp my thoughts, my mind is racing. It makes me think about all of the times that I've read and heard people say that the United States of America stopped being a country at a certain point and became a corporation. Like, is that true? Is my birth certificate and my social security card, is that just documentation and I'm just chattel for the fucking federal government? Like, this is insane. This is insane. And these.
So that's enough of that. Basically, that's what she's talking about. But it's jarring for people who've never had to do any of these things, who've never had to face asking these questions, because we just assumed it was real. You know, we always accepted what our parents told us. And then when we went to school and we said the pledge, that our government was taking care of us, right? But we were wrong about a lot of things. But this one video I want to share, I saw on my timeline on X, and it was a friend of mine, American, who had posted it, and I was reading it and I was like, holy shit, he's true. So I wanted to share that one. So let me grab it real quick, because this is the one I wanted to do next. This is when Trump left the White House the first time, because he didn't win. He didn't win his he didn't get voted in again. So I want you to listen closely to what he's saying. This is way before any of this. Now remember, he was president, so he was able to read and see a lot of documents that we have no idea what was in these documents, but he got to see a lot. And that's why I think he had all this time to think about, okay, if we can clean this up and get the voter stuff taken care of so that I can get back in there, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a bulldozer to all this crime and corruption and trying to clean house. But I have to have the right people. So he spent all this time talking to all his people that he trusted, because he's learned, I think, from that, to pick the team that he needed to be able to clean up, basically. It's just like you, when you're doing your house and remodeling, you look and you talk to your friends, find out who did what at their house or whatever, and you try to get the best people in there to get the best sewage system put in, the best water lines, the best person to put a new roof on, things like that. And I feel like that's what Trump did. I feel like Trump has looked at everything and said, okay, I'm going to fix it this time. But it says, remember when Trump left the White House after his first term? Here is what he said. I think we are witnessing what was uncovered in his first term. His people are almost in place. So that's why they're dragging. These Democrats are fighting left, and I mean, they're just fighting tooth and nail to get everything they want out of there. So I'm hoping there was enough decent people in there to hide some of the proof, because man, when Elon went in with Doge and his little group of nerds from his business started going through this stuff, they were able to find stuff really quickly, because when Elon bought Twitter, remember, he went in, he was carrying a kitchen sink, and he went in and he cleaned up. He fired almost everyone, because they didn't need that, because he saw the waste of all the wasted money and dumb stuff they were doing in the business and stuff to fit in here and there. And the reason why I think Twitter did so well, apparently, because the guy was millions and millions of dollars, is because we were subsidizing it with USA aid, right? We were paying them hush money to make sure that they quashed all of us and told us to shut up. Well, you can't say that. And they kicked Trump off, and they just paid Trump $20 or $10 million or something because of him being suppressed and taken off of Twitter. So Twitter, from before, had to pay Trump. So, because of the whatever it was that went on. I can't remember exactly what you would call it, but I want to play this for you so you can listen to this. It's very good.
These are corrupt politicians, fake news, the Comeys of the world, all of the bad things that went on. It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. And if you look at crooked Hillary Clinton, if you look at all of the different people, there was no transition because they came after me trying to do a coup. They came after me spying on my campaign. They started from the day I won and even before I won, from the day I came down the escalator with our first lady. They were a disgrace to our country, and we've caught them. We've caught them all, and we've caught them. We've caught them all. We've got it all on tape. We've caught them all. And by the way, you gave the idea for the Logan Act against General Flynn. You better take a look at that because we caught you in a sense, and President Obama was sitting in the office. He knew about it too. So don't tell me about a free transition.
That's a lot of information there. So slowly, all of this stuff is coming out. I think everything is going to be out. And the thing is that the people, us, the taxpayers, have to pay attention to what is being said, listen, go back and listen to it 25 times if you have to. Take notes. Start paying attention to what's going on. What kind of things has been screwed up in your state? What did they do to you? What did they do to your state? Fight for your state to get the information out that we need to help Trump win, to help Trump clean the swamp. That's what we need. So once we can start doing that, we're gonna see a huge change in everything that's going on. So if we can do that, we're going to be happy people. I really think so. So here's the next thing I had right here. I think this is it. Okay. And this is another thing. We've been seeing a lot of things on the news about CNN, right? They're cleaning house in CNN. They're dumping people left and right. They're firing people, laying people off on all the different media because they knew that the money is going to dry up because Trump's administration is not going to pay the media to lie and tell bullshit crap. And a lot of people stopped watching a lot of it because we get our news off X and other platforms like people I follow on Rumble and other things like that. I pay attention to them because that's where I get a lot of my information. Not because it's like the news, because it's like they're the new media. And even Trump's administration is giving out media and press credentials to go to the White House briefings and stuff to people that are YouTubers, people that are on Rumble, people that are on X, that kind of stuff, because that's the new media. Because guess what? We were the only ones that were paid off. You know, if you think about it, the ones that were really scrounging around trying to get the truth, like this doesn't seem right. And we're all the conspiracy theorists we're turning into the media because that's all we want. We just want facts. We want to know what's going on at our kids' school. But instead we had a government that wouldn't let us say anything because it was wrong. They didn't want us to know the truth, right? And then when you go to your school and complain about what they're teaching your kid, they try to have you arrested and shit. And this is the United States of America, people. We dodged a bullet. Trump dodged a bullet, but we dodged a bullet too for our country. We really did by having us record numbers of us showing up and working the polls. Because that's what I told people. If you're sitting in a seat at the polls and you're working it, they're not going to cheat in front of you. Unless they can blackmail you and force you not to do what you were there to do, they're not going to do it in front of you. That's just like a shoplifter isn't going to go grab something off the shelf, open the package and put it in their pocket in front of you because you are a witness. You aren't going to follow through because they're stealing. Because every time someone steals something, the price goes up for us, the rest of us, because we're not thieves. So that's how it all works. It's all hand in hand. But I thought this was pretty interesting, this article. The truth was told last night on CNN. The lawfare against Trump is nothing more than an effort to nullify the results of the 2024 election. The left believes Trump shouldn't be allowed to govern. It's that simple. This is their the stuff that this group of people is talking about on CNN. But it's interesting that it's on CNN because how many of you out there honestly would have believed that you get truth from CNN after all this time? Because remember, this was one of the first ones I remember people calling it the communist news network. So that was one of the little things that people would call it. But this is really good. I want you guys to listen to this if you haven't already heard it. It's pretty good.
Here's what I think is a joke. That you have these partisan hack Democrat attorney generals. They get together, and the only thing they know how to do is try to nullify the results of the last election by venue shopping these district court judges. They find the most lunatic liberals they can. They file lawsuits knowing full well they're going to try to usurp the president's authority, tie this up in court for years.
That stuff is sacrosanct. And you've got people going in there who don't know anything about that system.
These are also just restraining orders.
Doing this.
They're
he knows
asking
nothing about it.
What you just said is so profound. You said these people don't know anything and they don't know what they're doing.
That's right.
But they're appointees.
About Elon Musk.
I understand, but they are appointees of the duly elected president. So your view, you're here as our legal expert, but your view is because you don't personally believe they know enough that the duly elected president, who appointed a Treasury Secretary and who appoints special appointees like Elon Musk, shouldn't be able to act as the president because you don't personally believe they know enough?
Well, they
is
certainly
that how it works?
no.
Or do elections mean anything to you?
Well, it's got nothing to do with elections.
Of course,
the fact,
he's doing
the fact
exactly
of the
what
matter
we
is,
thought.
there is a law.
The truth was told.
Hold on.
Awesome. I just loved it. But that was a really good conversation. Now, what's wrong with that? That's entertainment, right? And it's the news. It's facts from one side and another, and they're having a conversation. For the rest of us to be an adult and listen and take out what we need to pick one of the sides. That is what all we asked for. That's all we want, is to have the news and let us decide instead of being spoon feeding us. Here, you're too stupid to know what's right. So we're going to force you to eat what we tell you to eat. See, and that's what's been happening. I haven't watched the news, any news network, but very little, a little here, a little there. I like Tucker for a little while, and then I'll go to Waters, or, I pick and choose different people, depending on what the story's about. Okay. And basically, that's what I go with. But I'm an Air Force brat, so I moved around a lot. I got to see a lot of different things. So I got to, I don't know, I guess I'm lucky because I got to see things other people didn't, how other countries lived, how their people were treated by their government. I got to see things like that, like when I lived in the Philippines and things like that. So I guess I'm lucky. I had a chance to see how it's done by others, and not a lot of people get to see that. But here is the other thing that I wanted to play, because I got to watch this, and it's very interesting. It's a mixture. It goes back and forth from what we were talking about with the USAID, okay, and then what they were just talking about the stealing the election, things like that, and who's behind it and all that kind of stuff. But this is another part of something that we've been pulled over our head, basically, is climate change, right? Well, my mother used to love Paul Harvey. Okay, she used to watch him when he would be on different shows and listen to him and stuff. She really liked him, and my grandmother did too. Because I remember when I was really little, in the kitchen, and my grandma would be baking and stuff, and her listening to it, and his voice. I remember his voice. I wouldn't have been able to tell you who he was, but they both liked him. So when I saw this come across my timeline, I was like, I'm interested. I listened to it, and I was like, it's shocking how much we're lied to about shit just for money, because they want to make money off of us. They want to put regulations on us about how you can drive your car, how far you can drive your vehicle, force everyone to have electric cars, things like that. It's all goes hand in hand on how they're going to pay each other and scratch each other's back. So they say, well, if we'll pay you millions of dollars if you push the agenda so that we can get tax incentives to build these cars, we'll force the people to have to drive them, then have to charge their cars using more power on this. See, it goes all, it's a big chain, and they all work together to do it. But I wanted to play this for you. It's Paul Harvey talking about, darn it. It's from 1992. Okay, this is a video from 1992. I had to go back and look. I couldn't remember. Here we go. Listen.
Barely a week goes by, but what some researcher tries to scare us or trick us out of research money by claiming that the sky is falling. And with the willing complicity of headline-hungry media, a recent crisis of the month had to do with global warming. An ozone hole is opening up over the United States, we were told. The effects of which were already measurable in an increase in skin cancer. On the contrary, destroying chlorine around the polar vortex has been declining since January. A major objective of a recent shuttle mission was to determine the scope and scale of the so-called ozone hole, and the silence since has been deafening from those whose livelihood depends on creating crises. Recent data from the Upper Atmosphere Research Satellites affirms that any problem is less, it's not greater. Ozone levels fluctuate all of the time, partly because of volcanic activity and solar flares. But MIT's Technology Review has made an exhaustive study of worldwide ocean temperatures since 1851, has concluded that there appears to have been little or no global warming over the past century. In fact, the net rise in world surface temperature during the last century, which was about 1%, almost all occurred before 1940, and that was before aerosols, and that has since been reversed. Former NASA chief Robert Jastrow and former Scripps director William Nierenberg, past president of the American Academy of Sciences, Frederick Seitz, all have concluded in a scathing rebuke of those who make money by predicting global warming, quote, if we allow ourselves to be influenced by press release, we could spend $1 trillion over the next decade destroying what's left of the American economy in an utterly unnecessary attempt to repeal the Industrial Revolution.
Wow, it's really scary when you think about it, because I remember the very first time I started thinking about global warming, and that was because of Al Gore. And he was telling us how the ice caps were melting, and that we were going to, all the people on the coasts were going to lose their homes and all this stuff. And I remember talking to my dad about it, and he was like, oh, don't worry about it. That's not true. And my dad was a jungle survival instructor in the military, so he did lots of scuba diving and went on lots of trips and stuff, doing stuff like that. And I asked him, I said, what do you mean? Why you say not worry about it? How am I going to not worry about it? You know, it affects all of us. And he said, because he said, you would already know that the water was rising, but he goes, you go to Plymouth Rock, okay, and when it was founded, from when we first landed on this land that we have now, it's still there. Plymouth Rock isn't underwater, so the water isn't rising like they said it is. So it's not going to happen. We're going to have hurricanes. We're going to have tornadoes. We're going to have floods. You're going to have lots of different things depending on the weather. But we've had weather since the beginning of man. Before man was even here, there was bad weather. And so when my dad would tell me that stuff, I started saying, I guess he's right, because, you know, he's my dad. Why would he lie to me about it? And Mom said, well, he's a smart man. she said he's really smart. Now I don't agree with everything he says, but she said he's really smart, and I believe him. And he said, now you shouldn't throw stuff out your car window and things like that because you're hurting the animals that live in the woods and stuff. And I remember we'd go on picnics and stuff, and my mother would make her own jugs for us to drink, old milk jugs, rinse them out, put Kool-Aid in them and things like that. And then we take them home with us. But we didn't have all these plastic containers and a bunch of aluminum cans and things like that to leave. And he would take us camping sometimes, my sisters and I, because he had 5 daughters. So we go camping, but guess what? We cleaned up our camping area every time. We didn't leave any garbage. We left nothing. And if we did go to the bathroom, we'd bury it in the ground, things like that, because my dad said it's not fair to the animals to destroy where they live. So we always tried to respect animals and nature, not because we were worried about global warming, but because it's the right thing to do, right? And both my parents smoked, and I never ever saw them throw a cigarette butt on the ground. My mother always brought a little, it was a coffee can, and she would put sand in the bottom of it, and she took it with her in the car everywhere she went. And that's where all her cigarette butts went. So, we can all do our own part. I mean, I do the Great American Cleanup thing that do once a year, and then we do a strip of highway, down our road and things like that. But it's each of us, each of us can make a difference in our own areas. Just like I said, you start at home, because where you live, you see every day when you drive down the road. And how many times you look out, I see people throw stuff out the window, and I think it's sad when you can just put it in the floorboard of your car and then go clean your car out. Do you do that in your house? You just throw stuff all over the floor and just leave it? I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it. But to me, it's people. People need to start taking responsibility for ourselves. If I saw my kid throw something on the ground, I'd say, pick that up. Or I'd smack their hiney and put them in their room and make them stay in the room if they're going to be bad and do things like that. But, we have to teach our kids respect for our environment, our homes. You don't let them trash your house. You don't let them go to other people's house and trash it. So why would you let them go out in the woods and do the same thing, or anywhere? And if we teach our kids, then when they go to work for someone and they see someone doing things wrong, more than likely they're going to say, why are you doing that? They'll speak up. We need to start raising leaders instead of all followers. That's one of the other things I've seen, because I'm a big mouth. I got in trouble a lot because I was always saying, why are you doing that? Or getting on to someone else because I thought they were doing something stupid. But this next thing I thought was a really good, important thing. Maybe I should do the other one first. But this was, I'll talk about him afterward. But this gentleman, he was a prisoner in Russia. Okay. And he was released. Trump was able to get him released from Russia. I don't know what deal they made, but they made some kind of a deal. But he was arrested for having marijuana. Okay, that's what he got arrested for. And I remember he was one of the people that one of the prisoners that Tucker tried to get released when Tucker did a live stream with Putin and was talking to him about the history of their country and things like that. And it was a really good interview. But remember when the other president we had and got someone released, and it was some black female basketball player. I don't remember for sure, because they did something, they had pot or something. I don't remember exactly what. But this was one of the other prisoners. I don't know if we have any other ones, but I don't think we do, because I just remember the one gentleman, and this is him. But I wanted to show this video because this is Trump, him getting to meet the prisoner once he was released at the White House. And I just want to see this, and then I'll show you the story about him, about the gentleman.
And I just will spend the rest of my life indebted to you and the country. I'm so excited. So great today.
Welcome home.
Some of our great people, speakers, we're going to have. Pleasure to meet you, Mark.
Okay. it's a very short thing, but the thing is that what I'm shocked about is how many things and how much this president has done in less than a month. In less than a month, in 20 something days, I've already seen this man do more than I ever saw Biden do ever. Even when Biden was running and Trump had huge rallies with thousands and thousands of people lining the streets, okay, as he drove up to his rallies. And then you had Biden, people sitting 6 feet apart in chairs with masks on, and there'd be like 100 people, maybe. And that's why I knew it was fake, especially when I started seeing the videos coming out showing people with stacks of ballots and putting them in the machine. So, and I was like, you're not allowed to do that. You have your own ballot and you put it in. Stuff like that. It just, I don't know. It just shocked me to death that so many people just thought, oh, well. And then they had to set up the whole January 6th thing because they thought, well, at least this way, we'll be president for 4 years, and then we can get Trump with a bunch of law stuff and show that he's a treasonous against the United States of America for starting an insurrection. And remember, not one person was convicted of insurrection. And how many people honestly believe that with 360 million people in our country, and half of them at least have at least one gun, that many people would show up for an insurrection to take over the White House and by force, by saying, this is our person and you're going to put him in there whether you like it or not, show up without guns? I mean, it's just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. And it's sad that they had to have, and more's coming out, that they actually had undercover agents there to rile people up and help them go into the thing and try to get them to do stuff. But guess what happened? They didn't follow it. The people that broke in didn't trash the place. They were walking around taking selfies. And then you saw the people in there, the police walking around with them. And that's why they tried to destroy all that video. They tried to destroy as many videos as they could. And people still sitting in jail that didn't even go to court yet. That's totally against the Constitution. I mean, it's just, these people were wiping their ass with our Constitution, basically, this last administration. And I'm so thankful to God after seeing my dad, what he went through in the military and all his friends and people that he lost at different things that my dad and my mother went through for his job in the military for this country, to see how these people are treated. It just makes me sick to my stomach. But all the money that they've wasted just in this one thing, just in the USAID, as much money they've already found, you could give every single person in the United States of America $3,000. If you think about it, just think about it that way. Take everyone you know in your town and give them $3,000. That's just a tiny drop of money compared to the whole United States. But that's how much money they've already found in fraudulent money that they've sent to all this frivolous, stupid shit by money laundering, basically, is what this is. And I can't wait till they start naming people's names and showing us who did what with our tax dollars. I can't wait to see that shit. I'm so excited. Even though I know that none of them are going to go to jail because they had the right to spend the money. Our government said, here you go. We voted on it and you can have this money to spend $2 million there and whatever for many, many, many years. It's perfectly legal the way they did it. And that's what happens when you have lots of lawyers. I mean, if you go look at the Walmart website right now, go to Walmart and look for the jobs, go to the job part on the Walmart website and look how many lawyers they have. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of lawyers because they don't do anything unless they know they can get away with it. You know, they want to make sure that when someone slips and falls, they're going to rush and give you $500 or whatever. So you can't sue. As long as you sign that document, they don't care if you have a lifelong broken back or something like that. They gave you your $500 and you got to shut the fuck up. So that's how you get treated. But this next article I wanted to show you is about this gentleman. Hold on, I got to make sure I open the right one. because I always do that. Okay. I think we did. No, we haven't done that one yet. Just 1 second. Okay. Yeah, here it is. Who is Mark Fogel? So let me open that one. Hold on. I'm not very good at this. I'm getting a little better, but who is Mark Fogel? Here it is. All right. This is the gentleman that was released from prison from Russia. It says who he is. American teacher. He was caught in a global power struggle. Who he lived and taught in many countries, including Russia, for 9 years. He spent 3.5 years in Russia, in Russian custody for having cannabis for medical use in his poor health. So we know a lot of people. We've had many states that passed laws to let people smoke medical marijuana for glaucoma. I don't know for all the other things, but there's lots of things that marijuana helps. And honestly, if it was my loved one, I'd rather them smoke marijuana than take a bunch of opioids. You know what I mean? People are dying left and right from overdoses from that. I haven't heard of a single person who's ever died of smoking marijuana or eating gummies. But this is the gentleman that was freed from Russia, thanks to our new president. Didn't take him very long. He sat there for almost 4 years under the Biden administration. Oh, Biden. Yeah, I know I said that. And they didn't care. They didn't care for crap. But they gave, I don't know how many prisoners back to Al-Qaeda for the one, what was it? The one woman basketball player. I don't remember what her name was. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I'm just not real smart when it comes to that. But I just think it's just funny how so much stuff is being uncovered now, but I'm thankful for it. I mean, Trump has hit the ground running and he's still going. He is not gonna stop, and I'm very proud of him. And I hope he keeps doing it, and I hope we keep supporting him. And it's so funny because they're all having all these meltdowns, but then when they interview the people in the street, what they think, and they're saying, yeah, keep doing it. Because this is what we asked for. 70-something million people listened and told Trump what they wanted. We want, and it's so funny. I heard one of the senators today when I was airing stuff about the different things that they were able to do today to get the new votes in. And what's funny is one of them were saying, look at this. Trump's been in office for 20-something days, and all he did was tell people, this, that, and the other he was going to do. And people were asking, lower the price of groceries and lower the price of gas. And he's been in 23 days. He hasn't done that yet. It's like you've been in office for 20 years. What are you doing? I don't know how they can sit up there and just lie. But they do. And I pray that people are watching and they won't vote these people back in. Don't vote these people back in. The ones who stabbed you in the back multiple times, taking your money and smiled the whole time they're doing it because they believe that you're too stupid to know how to spend your money, how to save your money and do things with it that you want to do because it's your money. I don't know. But whenever you see a first kid that gets his first job with a check, right? And he gets his check and he sees the money that took out of it and he says, what's FICA? I just get a kick out of that because they don't understand. And our schools aren't preparing them. So it's up to parents to do it. And we're it. Well, now it's going to get better, but now we're actually going to have a government that's listening to us. He listens to what we have to say, and he's doing what he can to fix it. But he has to have us help. We have to do our part. We can't just sit on the couch and think, oh, well, Trump's the president. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Right now is the time to help him get it fixed. Because if we can get our people in our states to pass laws, okay, once a law is passed and it's on the books, they can't go back and do that shit again unless we put them in jail. Because once it's done and cleaned up, do you want to go back in the matrix and get plugged back in and pretend that all is well? Or do you want to live real life knowing everything's better? Because now we're doing it. We're the ones in charge, right? And I like that. So I want to keep it that way. Okay, let's see. What was the next thing I had? Okay, it's called, it says a national security advisor. Okay, that's the one I want to open next. So hold me, get that one opened up and show it to you because I think it's pretty good. Is it that one? No, it's this one. Yeah, here we go. All right, I thought this was pretty interesting too. It says that National Security Advisor Mike Waltz on what happened in the Oval Office between President Donald Trump when he spoke to Putin and Zelensky, and how he worked on getting them to stop the war that they were doing. So here we're going to listen to this because this is something that we've been paying trillions of dollars for, sending all this money to Ukraine, which I know is just like I said, it's just like what's coming out with Doge about the money laundering. Basically, there's no way that we could spend all this money and all these people having parties still, because I was watching videos from people I know that deal with Russia a lot, with either family or friends, and then other people that are from Ukraine, because you got to remember there's a lot of people that used to travel back and forth over the border all the time, just like we did back and forth to Canada or to Mexico for work or family and friends and things like that. So they're buying cars and going to parties and all that, and it's supposed to be a war going on. So I don't know. I can't wait to see all this stuff unfold, but here we go. Here's the video.
Well, just very quickly, Sean, today in the Oval Office, I mean, it was literally being a part of history as President Trump spoke with Vladimir Putin and then spoke with Zelensky, and both of them said they are ready to end this war, and they could only do it with President Trump's leadership. I mean, just think about that for a second. This is a war that should have never started, would have been deterred under President Trump's leadership. Putin invaded a neighbor under Bush, under Obama, and under Biden, but not under President Trump first term, and he's ready to end it in President Trump's second term. That just happened today. You have Secretary of Treasury Bessent, Scott Bessent in Kyiv, negotiating for equity in Ukraine's resources so that the American people can be recouped the billions of dollars. You have the VP, you have Secretary of State immediately getting into negotiations. And in the Middle East, I think Hamas caves. They will cave by this Saturday because they know President Trump means it when he says there's all hell to pay.
See, and that's another thing. The way Trump is dealing with some of this stuff is the fact that he is getting money. Okay. He's talking to Ukraine about what their resources are. So we've loaned them basically we just handed them money. And that's what our government's been doing for a very long time. It's just taking giant piles of money and taking it to these countries and just handing it to them. Why? Why are we giving our money to those people? And a lot of them are standing around saying, that they want death to America and shit. So it's nice to see that Trump is negotiating how they can pay us back some of the money that we gave them to fight this war with resources. So I just love it. I think it's great. It's a whole different way of looking at how we're going to run this country and how we're going to make money because we're tired of working our ass off and not being able to keep the money that we earned to have a home. I know so many young people that have their own place. I mean, they're living in an apartment or whatever, but they want to buy a house. But guess what? They can't get a loan. It's so funny how an illegal can come over the border and they can get a loan. They can go to the bank and get a loan to buy a car or to get a house or whatever. And you got a kid that grew up here that went to college and they can't make enough money to say, oh, we want to get approved for a loan. It's like, sorry, you don't make enough money. It's like, it's bullshit. And it's going to change because this is our country and we have the right to stop people from walking over the border, taking our money, putting them in our school. They can't speak English, but we have to pay their way. Why? Why do we owe them anything? They don't owe us. go over the border, go over the border and try to become a citizen in Mexico. We're the only country that does that. We don't expect them to assimilate at all. We don't expect them to learn the language or learn anything about our history. We just hand over everything like, oh, well, why not? We don't want it. We do want it. We want our kids to have a better life. So I don't know. I'm just thankful that things have worked out the way that they have with Trump now as president, and the team that he's putting together, slowly coming together, and they're all hitting the ground running. They're all trying to make America great again. And now that Kennedy's in, he's going to start working on fixing what we're eating and how we're getting our food into our schools, into our grocery stores, what stuff and additives they're allowed to put in there simply because they paid enough money to the right person to get it legal. So, if you know what's in it and you know it has a red dye or some other ingredient that over time can cause cancer. Okay. I can tell you right now, I haven't had a soda pop in over 12 years. You know why? Because I had a couple friends that had been drinking aspartame drinks, the Coke and stuff like that with the fake sugar in it, right? Well, I don't like fake sugar because it makes me have a bad taste in my mouth, so I just don't drink anything that's got the fake sugar in it. So I started looking into what aspartame was, because it's in like it's sweet and low and all that different stuff. So I started looking at it, found out that it kills rats. It causes cancer in rats and they die from it. And I said, well, if it can cause cancer and it's a laboratory tests, then why is it legal to feed it to people? Well, because you don't eat enough. Well, how do you know? Who's standing there to make sure you're only drinking this very small amount a day? Nobody. And I've seen people drink 6 diet soda pops, in 4 or 5 hour time. That's a lot of aspartame that they're putting in their body. And where is it going? What's it doing to you? Okay. I've seen stuff when I was a kid in school where they take the glass jar and they put a tube through it, right, into the jar in the top. And then they have a ventilator thing that would suck air through the tube into the jar and then back out the bottom of it. And what it was is we had cigarettes. We kept putting cigarettes on there. It was all filled with cotton balls. And after like 100 cigarettes, it was pretty nasty in there, right? And they're saying, well, that's what your lungs look like. So I don't smoke. And now I don't have a problem with people that want to smoke. If you want to smoke and you want to buy cigarettes, after you know what cigarettes can do to you, because it says so right on the package, it says that can cause cancer. Okay. So if you know that if you eat this aspartame, that over time you're probably going to die from cancer, killing your liver and doing damage to your kidneys and all that stuff, then you have the right to eat it. Okay. So that when you do get sick, I lost my mother to pancreatic cancer, and I never saw my mother without a cigarette. And that's one reason why I don't smoke. Okay. And I have a sister that has asthma. She doesn't smoke. So I'm just saying it's all our decision. If I want to sit around and eat, fattening foods all day and just sit around and watch TV, and I get really heavy, that's on me too. It's if you know that you can go out and exercise or just eat less of stuff and work out or, be more careful about your diet. And that's on you too. I mean, it just depends on what you're willing to put into your life of what you're going to get out of it, and put more responsibility on us. It's my life and I want to do what I want to do with my own life. It's nobody's fault but mine. Okay. And I shouldn't be blamed for anybody else's mistakes that they make in their life any more than I'm blaming anyone for my mistakes. I'm not perfect. I say dumb shit and I get in trouble, and I might hurt someone's feelings. I have to call them up and say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I didn't realize that what I said was bad until after I said it. And it's too late then, unless you apologize and you don't do it again. Try to learn from our mistakes. But that's all we have is us. Okay. And what's around us and our friends and our families. And, try to use it to the best you can. I mean, try to help others. If you can help someone, showing them how to sew, showing them how to cook. I try to teach people how to crochet, do different things like that, because I enjoy it. Okay. But, I like riding horses. I like camping, fishing. I like doing a lot of things. And if we share our what we do know with someone else and help someone else learn something they didn't know, we're helping everyone, because sooner or later, you might need to be able to do something like change a tire on a car or change your own oil, things like that. So that's all I have for tonight. That's what I wanted to talk about. But the thing is that it's all on us now, and it's up to us to support Trump and his team once he gets them all in there. And they're working hard at trying to do it, it seems like. But man, we got a lot of people in there that don't want to see any of these people make it, and they're griping and complaining about Doge going in there and saving us money. I mean, it's just shocking to me that and people are agreeing with them. I see them standing there holding signs. They don't know what they're talking about, and it's sad because they actually believe some of the crap these people are telling them. Well, I want to play this though before I close, because this is what Doge is all about, and this is exactly what they're doing. So I want to play this for you.
Coming this spring to MXNBC, a groundbreaking series that will change the U.S. government and the world forever. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, under the direction of former star of The Apprentice, Donald Trump, will challenge 3 million contestants to carry their load or hit the road. That's right. We'll be asking every government employee to prove their value.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Just like in a good old-fashioned meritocracy.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming in. What would you say it is that you do around here?
I mean, a lot of days I really do stuff. It's just there's not that much going on today.
I helped Tanner and Blaze replace those heavy 5-gallon water containers.
Tune in each week as Elon and Vivek measure every federal employee's value and efficiency.
And time. So your study on how cocaine enhances the sex drive of Japanese quail. What's that worth to the American taxpayer?
I think it's priceless.
And get ready for the savings, as those that don't make the cut get shown the door.
The president wants to tell you something.
Firstly, thank you for coming in today. And second, you're fired.
The Emmy Award-watching viewers of Deadwood and Idiocracy present Doge Days, the purge of the U.S. government.
There is a whole forest of dead wood out there. We got to get chopping, buddy.
I love that video so much. It's so good. I watch it a lot, and I show it on every one of my shows because I really believe in it. We are got to purge the U.S. government. We have got to clean house, and it takes all of us. It took 77 million people to vote Trump in, to outvote their the whatever cheating or whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, we did it. Okay. And we're winning each day that Trump does anything. I mean, every single thing he's done has been good for us, all of us. And we just got to work together, stay together, work together, share each other's information. If you're on X or you're on Rumble or YouTube, or I just started my new Gilded. I should share that with people. Darn it, think about it. But I got an email. I'm going to put it in the chat. So if you come up with anything or that you think we should talk about on a show or in a space on X, please send me an email and say, hey, this is something that we need to talk about. And if it has anything to do with the whole thing with Trump is cracking down on saving kids or human trafficking or any of those things, we really need to cut down on that. And the whole thing about him going to war with the cartels, all this stuff has been really good. I'm so proud of our country for fighting to take back our country from all these corrupt politicians, all these people using our hard-earned dollars and all our time and our sweat that we put out all these years for who knows how long it's been going on, but I'm sure it's been a long time, probably my whole lifetime, probably your whole lifetime still, that it's gotten more and more corrupt because there's not been anyone that can do anything about it. And it's kind of hard to say no to 77 million people, right? So if we just stick together and share good information, if you guys get anything, that you think is like something that you think someone should know, send it to my email. Send it to the Friday Night Shit Show at gmail.com. That's my email. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who's hung out tonight. And I hope I might have shared something with you that you didn't already know, but I hope it made you realize that there's millions of people out there just like you that just want to have more money in their pocket to spend on their own families, for their birthdays, or on the weekend when you're playing games, or you've written a movie and you're going to sit around and eat popcorn and hang out with your family and have fun. Enjoy life like we're supposed to, with people who care about you and who you care about. And that's it. That's all I wanted to say. But you guys have a wonderful evening, and I hope you like the outro, because I love this song. I think he's a wonderful person, and he supports Trump. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
First off, let me convey to my family, friends, and supporters that now is not the time to gloat. We must remember that most of our left-leaning friends are good people who want the same things in life as we do, but simply think differently on how to get there. It is now time to be the bigger man, to extend an olive branch and unite all reasonable people of this great nation. God has blessed America, and together with President Trump, we will make America great again.